All right, we are here.
Yes.
So welcome, welcome. I've been looking forward to this all day long. I have the honor to be speaking with Dr. Jennifer Simmons of Real Health MD. And I've been just so excited because there's so many questions I have to ask, so many things I want you to share with us. So as we start, can you please share your background?
Yes, of course. And I have been looking forward to this too, because
Excellent.
I always love meeting another person in my tribe. My background is I spent the last 17 years as a breast surgeon and really one of Philadelphia's top breast surgeons. So I really was at the top of my game in breast surgery when I left. And enjoyed a lot of acclimates, had an amazing patient base and group of people that I served and took care of, and loved my colleagues. And so my transition was an unusual one, but I think that most people who kind of drop the mic at the height of their career and then go to another stage, I think all of us have a unique story, and mine's no exception.
It's no exception, as you say, but you know what? It's something that I want you to share. And here's why, because everybody thinks that, well, all medical doctors know all the same things, and all medical doctors are created equal. But we know that's not true, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
your story, your journey, your hero's journey is really important. So you know what? Please do share. You came to a certain point as the top breast surgeon, and you're seeing patients, you're doing well, you're healing people, but you said, you know what? Something has got to be different.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Something's got to transition. Something's got to change. What happened that you finally said, line in the sand?
I was plugging along, had a lot of juggling, a lot of balls in the air, thought that I could do it all, be it all, handle it all. So I'm working full time and I'm trying to be a great wife and a mother to my two boys, and an athlete. I'm an avid tennis player, and I was playing 4, 5, 6 days a week whenever I could get on the court. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I didn't feel well. I had heart palpitations, horrible insomnia, fatigue, would get winded just walking across the room, let alone stairs or the tennis court. But I, like every good doctor, ignored my own symptoms
We have
because,
that tendency.
we're busy,
Yeah,
right? And we have people to take care of. We don't have us to take care
that's
of.
right.
So I ignored. And then I was on the tennis court and literally thought that I was going to have a heart attack. So I used to play tennis before I would go into the office in the morning. So I was on the tennis court at 6 o'clock, thought I was having a heart attack, called my doctor because, we only do things in extreme. Went, had lab work, went to her office, saw her. She called me that afternoon and said, "You have hyperthyroidism. You're in danger. You need to, take medicine to slow down your heartbeat." So, for people that don't know, when your thyroid is overactive, it can really be quite dangerous to your heart. And she sent me to an endocrinologist who a couple days later diagnosed me with Graves' disease. And he gave me the option of either having my thyroid removed with surgery, or doing radiation to obliterate my thyroid, or taking lifelong thyroid suppressive medication. And none of those options felt right to me. And I appreciated the irony that those were therapies that I offered everyone every single day without reservation or hesitation, but they did not feel right for me. And so I couldn't sleep anyway. I had horrible insomnia. So I left the office, went home that night, and read every single person's testimonial about how they healed their own thyroid disease. And it was diet, 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 diet. And as a traditionally trained doctor and as a cancer doctor, you would think that I would know that if diet were important, I would know that,
Of
right?
course.
But my training, and I went to Jefferson, which is a fine medical institution, and they are held to the same standard that every medical student in the US is held to, and that's that they get 25 hours of education
Right.
around nutrition. So I learned what we actually only got 15, but I think schools are required to do 25. So I learned my 15 hours of nutrition, thought that because I was not overweight, I was healthy. And, so I had no idea that food was so important. But when I got sick, I saw this and said, well, if food is the answer, I'm going to learn more about food. So I went to IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I enrolled in that course because, it was easy for me to do at night and on the weekends and that kind of thing. And I learned a tremendous amount about food there, but probably the most important thing that I learned there is Mark Hyman, who, for those that don't know that name and don't know what that means, he's not the founder of functional medicine, but for all intents and purposes, he's the face of functional medicine. And he spoke the second day or something like that. And I sat there like, what is functional medicine? What is this person talking about? I never heard of functional medicine. If functional medicine were a thing, I would know it because, I know what's going on.
Of course.
Yeah. So once I was able to get over that, I didn't understand what he was talking about. I really kind of relaxed into what he was saying. And it's like the whole world came together and suddenly everything made sense. And so I enrolled in the Institute for Functional Medicine because, I like to bite off way more than I can chew.
It's
Here I
a
am.
deep program.
I'm at IIN, I'm at IFM. I'm still trying to be a breast surgeon. I apply what I learned to me. I apply what I can to my patients. I heal my thyroid. And I think that I have it all figured out, only I wasn't walking my talk. So I cleaned up my diet for sure, but I didn't implement any of the other things that I tell people to do. I wasn't meditating and I wasn't doing any self-care. And I wasn't walking my talk, and I was still working 12-hour days, trying to juggle all those balls again. And I woke up one morning in October of 2018. My face was numb. My right hand was numb. I, of course, thought I was having a stroke. And after a 2-month workup where they couldn't find anything wrong with me, the only thing that they can piece together is maybe this is the early signs of MS. I'm not bad enough yet.
Very scary.
And it takes most people 3 years to get an MS diagnosis. You have to be bad enough before you get one. And you know what? I decided that I didn't want to be bad enough. And this was my universe telling me that this wasn't working and I needed to do what works. And what works is functional medicine. And I resigned from my position and about a year later opened up Real Health MD.
Now that had to be scary. I mean,
Terrifying.
You're leaving an incredible comfort zone.
Of course. I mean, not for anything else, but first of all, the financial security. I mean, I had, from the day that I finished medical school, I knew what I was going to contribute to our household income. In residency, it wasn't a lot, but I knew what it was going to be. Whereas, when you put out your own shingle, you have no idea what this day, week, month is going to be like. Right. So that was terrifying. It was also terrifying to go from knowing everything there is to know about what you do to being the newbie, right? And to starting over again and to becoming familiar and automatic with new tasks. So, that was terrifying. But your choices are, you can either face your fears and excel, or you can wither away. And withering away wasn't an option for me. I'm not going to shy away from my challenges. I'm going to meet and exceed them. So that's where I am.
So, we can't walk away because, we have this thing where we want to help people anyway. So that
Right.
was an option on the table for you, obviously. So, working in the position that you're working before, you now leave. What do your colleagues say to you? I mean, they must think, oh my God, what are you doing?
So I think a lot of them think that I lost my mind.
Right.
Right. So because when I explain to them that I can help so many more people, reach so many more people, make a significant contribution to so many more people by teaching them about food and nutrients and lifestyle and self-care, and they're like, huh? Right? I mean,
Right.
they don't get it. They don't get it.
They don't.
So
And we were
it's
talking
hard.
in the beginning, like I was saying, my family, just a huge history of cardiometabolic disease, huge history of
Yeah.
cancer. And when I started talking to them about nutrition, they thought, oh my God, Michael has some kind of eating disorder. I'm just saying, listen, we cannot eat cheesesteaks every Friday nights. We can't do deli night on Saturday, and then the smoked fishes on Sunday morning. I mean, the amount of sodium alone just from Friday to Sunday evening was huge.
Yep.
So when I tried to tell family about nutrition, they thought I was crazy. So when you started telling your family about nutrition and relatives, what do they say? Do they say, yeah, that makes sense, or
So
no?
the interesting part is that between when I was diagnosed with Graves and when I started to have the symptoms of MS, my mother got diagnosed with colon cancer.
Mm,
And I was already in the throes of understanding how important food was and how important lifestyle was. And my mom, who had been a lifetime non-exerciser, had been overweight with the exception of one very brief period where she was taking a lot of diet pills back in the 70s
70s?
yeah. So, she had been overweight my whole life and had been the picture of non-health. She actually read Mark Hyman's book, and she has a little bit of orthorexia where, she adopts these absolutes and there's no deviation from it, but it sure beats where she was before. So in that sense, part of my family welcomed it, part of my family didn't. And that's a lot of the world around us, right? And there's so much fear tied into it because people are afraid you're going to leave them, right? You're leaving their tribe,
Right.
and that makes them really scared. People fear change. So if you're going to change, they're afraid you're going to take them along with you, and that's terrifying to them. So they make fun of it and they poo-poo
Yes.
it. And I see a lot of that in my colleagues that, yeah, I'm sure that it helps somewhat, but if it really mattered, we would do it, right?
Right.
So
You would have
that,
evidence-based, right? We'd have evidence-based.
yeah, yeah. So
RCTs all the time. And you
so
can't do that with nutrition. It's so hard to get any evidence-based thing with nutrition.
well, you don't really believe that, do you?
No,
I mean,
well, I mean, how are we going to actually look at somebody? Are they going to take in the right food? Are we going to, we know what works, right? We have an
yeah,
idea, but to tell somebody, you're going to write everything down like I tell you to do, I can't depend on a patient going to write everything down,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. But you and I both know that even if they do a little bit, they improve.
True.
even if they keep to it 25% of the time, they get better, because that's 25% more time than they were spending in a healthy space before, right?
Correct.
So, uh, though it's hard to have those like double blind controlled studies in the nutrition world for sure, um, I think that there is a daunting amount of evidence that nutrition works,
Oh, nutrition definitely does work. So
right?
let's stay on that nutrition thing. So when you have a patient that comes in, and we'll see this in the office sometimes, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. They are so almost religious like about their diet. It could be a vegan, a vegetarian, and they won't change. And yet they're sick. And the same thing with, somebody who eats, I eat only meat. And the carnivore diet, of course, has some important aspects to it, but not every protocol is for every person. So how do you deal with that when somebody comes in and they follow a certain nutritional protocol,
Mhm.
but clinically it's not the right one for them?
Yeah. So a little bit of it comes into what is your deal with your patient, right? Because if we're working together, there has to be a willingness to work together. So it's very much a partnership. And I know and respect what they're coming to the table with, but what they know is the problem. So they have to be willing to unlearn some of what they know so that they can heal. And so if you come to me and you are super stuck in this place and you're only going to do this, I'm going to say, I don't think the time is right for us to work together. Or, I don't think that I'm the right person for you. I'm not sure that I'm going to be effective. And then, maybe they think about it and maybe they come back to me in 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is, and say, okay, what I'm doing is not working. Maybe I ought to consider something. And the other thing that I do is that I try to not change too much at once.
Mm.
So yes, if I have a metastatic cancer patient who is failing, maybe I am kind of unleashing my whole toolbox on them at the same time. But if I have someone who I can take some time with, I try to make small, achievable changes so that they can be incorporated into habit and they're not so much felt, they're not perceived, they're just a little tweak that maybe they feel good with that little tweak. And so they're willing to do something else. And they're then willing to do another thing. So, and I really try to meet each person where they are. So if it's someone who I know needs a lot of motivation up front, maybe I'm going to do a couple of things up front in order to let them feel some early, quick progress. Right? So it's really about reading that person, which is you know as well as I do. This is so much about connection
Hmm.
because they really need to believe in us and they have to feel a connection with us because this is not easy. The easy thing is to go take a pill. The easy thing is to go have the surgery. The easy thing is to have someone else do it for you. It doesn't work,
Right,
right? It's not enduring, but it's easy.
right, right.
So this space, the space that we're in is hard, but worth it.
I like it. I get a tremendous amount of what I say go knee to knee with the patient. I want to know really what's going on. I want to know their story. If
Yeah,
they want a 3 to 5 minute eval, they can go down the street and see that doc.
yeah,
I think it's really important that we speak, and I think that's one of the differences between the functional medicine approach and the traditional conventional approach. I will say I do work with some docs who buck the system and they don't care about the insurance. They'll spend whatever time they need to spend to give to their patient. You know, there's like the Marcus Welby of treatment. Remember Marcus Welby? You know, he'd come in, he'd wear that long white coat, but he would always sit and talk. And I think that's really important, especially when dealing with a patient. So when a patient comes in and you see that they're going to require some type of nutritional protocol, aside from the standard blood test, do you like to incorporate any other kind of functional medicine testing?
I do a lot of stool testing to look at the microbiome, right? So I know people don't like to talk about poop, but we get so much information from what, you know, how often you poop and what your poop's like, and, you know, what's going on in there, because it tells us what's happening in your microbiome, that ecosystem that's inside of us that is in constant communication with our immune system. 70% of our immune system is housed in the gut, and people don't realize that. So if you don't have a healthy gut, you don't have health. So I do spend a lot of time in that space with them. So that's a functional tool that I use a lot. And then it depends on what they're coming with. So, you know, cancer patients, I want to make sure that their detoxification processes are in place, because, you know, all these hormonally mediated cancers, you want to make sure that these people are eliminating their hormones in the way that they're supposed to be eliminating them. So, you know, on that population, I'm looking at hormone studies, and it really depends who's walking in the door. Almost everyone, though, I'm checking vitamin D, because vitamin D is not a story about your bones. Vitamin D is a story about your everything. And most people, not all, but most people have lives that are not conducive to getting sunshine to manufacture your own vitamin D. So in almost every case, I'm looking at that and looking to optimize that.
Gotcha. So let's use that as a jumping point.
Yeah.
I'm sure this happens to you, where patients come in and they come in with their like a shopping bag filled with vitamins and supplements.
Yeah.
And the majority of it, back to poop again, is poop. I mean, the majority of the vitamin supplements are crap.
Absolutely.
They're taking just what's marketed to them.
Yeah.
So when you look at vitamins and supplements, how do you say, okay, this is what I'm going to recommend, and this is how we're moving forward? You know, again, the test, looking at the, like, you know, a stool test, checking out the microbiome. What else do you like to look at as markers to look at vitamin supplements? And if you can answer another question, to me, running an LDL particle size and an NMR lipo profile is so important, but yet the cardiologists in my area are like, nah, it doesn't matter, we're going to give them a statin anyway. So if you could talk about those two things,
I know,
that would be great.
Believe me,
Please enlighten me on that one.
So I'm running that cardiometabolic profile on everyone who either is of a certain age or has family history of cardiovascular disease or metabolic disease. And I am going over those results in detail with the patient, drawing them pictures, explaining to them what's going on. You know, these are the ones that are not going to get into those little holes in your blood vessels, and these are the ones that are. And I am saying, like, if you want to just take a statin, then this is not the place for you anyway, right? Because what we're doing here is trying to prevent you from taking a statin because of all the things that come along with taking a statin. And I think by the time people are enrolled with me, they're the people that have either had it with their statin because they're depressed and they have no libido and, you know, all the things that go along with taking a statin, or, you know, they've already decided that that's not the way for them. And so they've come as an alternative to that. But going back to the supplement talk topic, I couldn't agree with you more. And with those, when those people walk in with all those supplements, it makes me feel terrible. I am very much a food first, food forward person. And most of the people that want to work with me know that, and know that I expect them to get most of their vitamins and minerals from food. And I give them lists and examples and pictures and what your plate should look like. And so I give them a lot of guidance, a lot of checklists of, this is what your plate should look like. And these are the things that I want you to eat every single day. And here's your list that you should eat over the course of a week. So I'm giving them a lot of guidance around how to meet their nutrient requirements. But there's still vitamin D, because it's nearly impossible for most of us to get enough sunshine. And just because you went to Florida in January doesn't mean that you're set today, right? Because that's a very dynamic, fluid process that you're constantly consuming that vitamin D. So vitamin D is one that I almost always supplement. I am a fan of fish oil and its anti-inflammatory properties. I am respectful of those vegans that don't want to use any animal product, and I get it. And in those cases, I recommend either a product that comes from algae, or some vegan version of alpha linoleic acid that gets converted to EPA and DHA, which is the fish oil. With the understanding that our bodies don't do that terribly efficiently. Right. So that's another area where I supplement. And then I'm a big believer in mushrooms, the medicinal mushrooms. So
both you and I are organo fans. So
yeah, we're both organo fans. But I share my love, because I'm also a real mushrooms fan. And I actually today developed a proprietary blend of mushroom essential oils that I'm going to start to provide to my cancer patients. So yeah, I'm a big believer in mushrooms and the kingdom of mushrooms and the wonders that they do in the body.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
that data around psilocybin, no pun intended, is mind blowing.
No pun intended. We talk of vitamin supplements, and we would be remiss as docs to not currently talk about our situation with COVID-19. Supplements are flying off the shelf. I never remember a time in my life where people were running and just buying like hordes full of supplements and just guessing at the best. So if we can touch base on that from your perspective, just a bit on immune, because we can talk about immune for hours upon hours. Just what is your thoughts on, and again, for me, vitamin D is important, immunotone is important, I mean, all it's important. So I want to hear what your thoughts are on, they're going to buy supplements. You and I believe they should buy really, eat a pepper, get it more from food.
Right. Yeah.
So let's just talk about, we'll pick two. Vitamin C.
Okay.
And then we'll pick, you talked about D. Let's talk about fish oil. So you touch base on fish oil. Let's talk about vitamin C, fish oil, and one more. A probiotic, because we have to get the gut, right?
Okay.
So let's start with vitamin C first.
Okay. So vitamin C, I'm again going to be a food first person. I think that there's a lot of assumptions around the fact that you take a vitamin C supplement and it's doing in your body the same thing that food is doing, right? So I think there's a lot of assumptions there. I'm 100% certain that it is not nearly as good to take it as a supplement as it is to eat it as a food. And that there are hundreds, if not thousands, more phytochemicals that are plant chemicals that are participating in the process, in addition to the vitamin C and whatever you're eating, that is so much more beneficial. So if you want vitamin C, I'm going to tell you to eat your peppers, and the more colorful they are, the more vitamin C it has. And if you don't like peppers, you can eat Brussels sprouts, you can eat spinach, you can eat kale, you can eat mango, you can eat papaya, you can eat kiwis. I can go on and on. You get the picture, but I think that vitamin C should come from food.
Okay.
Citrus fruits, everyone talks about oranges and thinks oranges. And I want to be clear, I am talking about eating the whole food, not orange juice, not, so.
Right. Not putting like pickled peppers in your hoagie is not what you're talking about.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
No.
And then, fish oil, because, we hear a lot about fish oil, and there are some companies that are really good. Some are not. If you can share, what you like, and, a great way to get, the benefits of fish oil.
Yeah. So I happen to think that the orthomolecular product is, that's my favorite one. It's a really quality fish oil. They control for the amount of time because, as the oil ages, it becomes oxygenated, and that ends up being an issue. So, and it's a pharmaceutical grade product. So that's the one that I use, called Orthomega. That's what I use in my practice. Again, for the vegans that won't use fish oil, then I recommend different versions of alpha linoleic acid that you can take as a supplement, but it's also in seeds. So, ground flax and that kind of thing.
And as
Other
you said,
foods, and perilla oil.
Okay, give me the last one again.
Perilla oil.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. So that is, also available as a supplement.
Okay. So do you like to, the big question I always get is, refrigerate or don't refrigerate your fish oil?
I don't refrigerate mine, but mine also doesn't last for long. So we have one bottle, and I have 4 people in this house, and we're all taking it.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then, as you said, 70% of the immune system is created in the gut.
Yeah.
So what probiotic do you like? Do you like to use probiotic?
I use probiotics when I think that we need to repopulate. So for people who are just starting out with me and are coming from a standard American diet, I know that their microbiome is not going to look diverse.
You. Come back.
Oh, am I back? Am I here?
There you go. Now you're back.
Oh,
all right. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So where did I lose you?
We're talking about the probiotics.
Okay. Right. So I use probiotics for people who I think need to be repopulated, right? So if you're just coming to work with me and you're on the standard American diet, and I know that you have no diversity, I'm going to have you do some stool testing first to make sure that there isn't anything that we need to get rid of. And then I'm going to start you on a probiotic, and I use the Megaspore, the Microbiomes Labs Megaspore Biotic. And then if I have a patient who's been on antibiotics, who has gotten chemotherapy, who has done anything that I know is going to change the landscape and diminish that diversity in your microbiome, I'm also going to supplement them, but I only supplement them for a short amount of time. So I'm really only doing a 3-month regimen with them. And then I'm depending on them to feed their microbiome properly, right? Because it's not about, you can't supplement a bad diet. You just can't. So you can plant the seeds, but unless you feed the garden, it's not going to grow.
Right.
Right?
I agree.
So, but before we get off of the topic of immunity and the microbiome and health, I do have to say that probably the most important thing here is stress
Stress. What?
and sleep. Because if you're not sleep, the number one thing you can do to destroy your immune system is not sleep.
Right. But
So
we're
if
under
you're
so
not,
much stress, right? Everybody's going to tell you, listen, I can't sleep. And I was with a patient this week and she cannot sleep. And she's calling her doc for Ambien. Her doctors want to give her Ambien. We're talking about setting a bedtime routine. So we say sleep. We tell people sleep, and sleep is wonderful medicine, but it's just not that easy.
it's not that easy. And again, this is not easy. This is work. It's work to get healthy,
Come
right?
back.
Oh, do I
Almost
keep
there.
fading
Come
away
back.
on you?
Yeah, there you go. You were talking
Okay.
about, it was so good. It was talking about sleep. It's so good.
Okay. So, sleep is not easy. It doesn't come easy, right? This is all work. It's work to get healthy. But there are a lot of things that you can do around sleep hygiene, and they're easy things like I need you to be in your place of sleep by 9:30 and be ready to go to bed by 10 o'clock, because it's between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock that our body makes the most melatonin. Melatonin is our healing hormone. So if the less of that you make, the less you're healing, right?
Right.
So that is largely why poor sleep, lack of sleep, chronic short sleepers have so much risk of chronic disease, because their healing balance is completely off. So going to bed at the same time, making sleep a routine, making your bedroom a welcoming place. If your bedroom is a cluttered mess, your sleep is going to be a cluttered mess. So you have to create the environment for the outcome that you want. So if you want a peaceful night's rest, then you have to have a peaceful bedroom. And in addition to that, blue light is such a disruptor. The electromagnetic field is such a disruptor. Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Get your cell phones, get your devices out of your bedroom. When the sun goes down, start to listen to circadian rhythm, right? Align yourself with the rhythm of the sun. So when the sun goes down, you have to stop that light exposure. You have to wear blue light glasses. Do things that tell your brain that it's time to start shutting down. And I have the other supplement that I use with great frequency is melatonin. And I give it at dinner time.
Really?
So I tell people to take their melatonin sometime between 6 or 7 so that they're ready for sleep by 10.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think melatonin is important, especially now, because it does have some anti-inflammatory
It surely
quality as well.
does. So that's
really
another supplement worth talking about. Now that will fly off the shelves.
right.
But and I want to be clear, like, this conversation between us isn't about diagnosing anyone, isn't about treating anyone.
Right.
These are just things to think about, right? Ways that you can, I don't think there's any answer in supplements, and there's no one supplement that's going to make anyone healthy, but
Correct.
sleep will make everyone healthy. Eating more vegetables will make everyone healthy, right? So it's just, I think the magic is in you. The magic is in all of us. We can all find that balance. It may not be easy to find that balance, but we can all find that balance.
Right. And do you like to use essential oils? Like, do you diffuse essential oils when you sleep at night?
I do.
Okay.
So right now, I know we were at a conference together, and I bought this.
Oh, you got it. You got it from Boston. Okay, very cool.
The parasympathetic blend. So I'm excited. I'm excited to try it tonight. But right now, my favorite thing that I'm diffusing is Valor.
Nice.
You see this one?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you're into essential oils. I work with someone from Young Living, Tara Bayman. She's wonderful. And yeah, I'm very against candles, but I love aromatics.
Hmm.
So essential oils for me are just really peaceful and calming, and they make me smile inside.
Right. Right. I love it. I got introduced it, through Sachin when he sent it as a gift, and
Mhm.
I'm like, "What is this?" And I kind of like, "Oh, what is this hippie stuff?" And my wife's just always like, "What are you talking about?" She started, diffusing. I'm like, and then I go, "Okay, where's my essential oils?" Right. So I fell in love with it. Absolutely
Yeah,
loved it. It was
yeah,
great. So
yeah.
we'll talk
So, and
about.
I mean, look, it doesn't have to be hippie. Like, look how
No,
pretty
that's
my
pretty
diffuser
cool.
is,
Yeah.
right? It's gorgeous.
Does the lights change on that too?
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
I've got
does.
one of those.
It can be any color you want. I actually,
All right.
most of the time, I turn the light off,
Yeah. I don't like
especially at
candles.
night.
Like you, candles give me headaches. I don't like candles.
Yeah.
Those kind of strong smells, the perfume smells, all that's never done well. So I want to touch base on another topic, and we've already been going on so long, and I want to be respectful of your time. And as we start out, cancer is something that's very big in my family. It has touched my family, friends, patients. I don't know anybody who doesn't know somebody who has it. Um,
Yeah.
you treat cancer. You, in the sense of you help people optimize their health when they have been given this diagnosis of cancer, correct?
I do.
Okay. So I wish I could have brought my mom to you, my dad to you, my friends to you. When somebody comes to you and they have cancer, regardless of their diagnosis, their specific one, cell, pancreatic, colon, prostate, can you share what you do, how you help them optimize their life, their health, while they're experiencing this change?
Yeah. So, sometimes it depends on where they are in their process. And I want to be clear that I don't diagnose anyone, I don't cure anyone, and I do not recommend that people um, avoid or eliminate traditional cancer treatments, right? So I am working in combination with their medical oncologist, with their radiation oncologist. I am serving to enhance whatever they're doing. So again, depending on where they are in their process, I am giving them a health plan. I am giving them a plan for living, because elsewhere they're getting a treatment plan and a plan for dying.
Mm.
So it's a very different approach. I am helping them to promote health. Sometimes what that's doing is it's lessening the side effects of chemotherapy or radiation. Sometimes it's doing is diminishing their pain. Sometimes it's reversing their disease. Sometimes it's they've already been treated, but they don't want a recurrence. And we're dealing with why they got cancer in the first place and eliminating that and driving their health. Because unless you eliminate why they got there in the first place, what's going to change? They're either going to die of their disease or they're going to develop another chronic disease, because that's what happens. At the root of all of this is inflammation. So unless you take away the reason why they're inflamed, you're not going to change their outcome. So I know that everyone who is committed to working with me and works the program, they're going to have a different outcome. But you have to get on a different path to go to a different place,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we're on everyone, I'm working on diet. And I'm giving them very specific food groups to consume. So every single day, I'm telling them that they should be eating leafy greens, and they should be eating cruciferous vegetables, and they should be eating something from the onion family, and they should be eating garlic, and they should be eating mushrooms, you know, because I have to have my mushrooms. And you know, they're drinking green tea, and they're eating flax, and you know, they have their to-do list for the day. They have their to-do list for the week to make sure that we're getting all the phytochemicals and all the colors of the rainbow. They're also intermittent fasting because their digestive system needs to rest so that their immune system can rebuild. And so that the processes that help with regeneration in our bodies can happen, because they only happen when we're fasting. So I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting, and I take it a step further, and all of my cancer patients are on some version of the fasting mimicking diet. So they may not be on Walter Longo's fasting mimicking diet, the Prolon diet,
Right.
but maybe they're doing my version. So I have a 2-day version. And depending on where they are in their journey, sometimes they're doing it once a quarter for 2 days. Sometimes they're doing it once a week. So it depends where they are and what their acute current needs are. But fasting is a big part of what I help them with. And then we're working on all the other lifestyle measures. So sleep, right? So most of these people who have gotten to this point, they have very poor sleep. So we work with them, and we teach them how to sleep, and we teach them about sleep hygiene. And even if they think that they're sleeping, but they've been on Ambien for 9 years, or, you know, because we see that all the time, or they're taking some other hypnotic to sleep. Well, all of that artificial sleep is just that. It's artificial sleep. So, you know, we help them to correct that so that they can sleep, and so that they can repair. And we're talking about exercise, and we're talking about detoxification, and we're helping them detoxify their diet, their environment. We're helping them boost their detoxification processes. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the process. And we meet everyone where they are, and we help them to get to hopefully a better place. And for some people, that just means improving their health so that they don't get another diagnosis like the one that they carry.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it means reversing their disease. And for some people, it means just getting them to feel better so that they can live the best life that they can for as long as they can.
That's beautiful. And you work with both men and women. You don't work just with women,
I
correct?
do. I work with men and women.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how does somebody have the opportunity to work with you? How do they call you? Do they set the appointment? Do you have just like one-on-ones? Do you have groups? Do you have packages? How does somebody work with you?
Yeah. So all of my packaging is on my website, which is realhealthmd.com.
Excellent.
And I always start off with a free one-on-one session just to hear about where you are in your journey and see if this feels right, and if it feels right now. Because, you know, some people want to do this and it sounds interesting, but they're not ready. So, you know, I only want to work with people that want to work with me. And I want to work with people that are ready to work with me, because that's the only way it's going to be successful. And I want them to be successful.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I want to be respectful of your time tonight. You shared a lot of great information. I'm pretty confident we can go on at least a few more hours.
Yeah.
any parting words? I mean, we are in a crazy time right now.
Yeah,
Sleep for many is elusive.
I know.
Stress is at a all-time high. Worried about families, worried about economy. What can you leave us with? A little bit of a virtual hug to our brains, to our mind, just maybe put us at ease a little bit.
Yeah. So control what you can control. So try to maintain a schedule every day, because I think that that is important. And sleep obviously is tremendously important. And now is a great time to start a meditative practice, something where you can control your thoughts, because that's really what meditation is about. It's about you being in the driver's seat of your mind, and not that crazy teenager that does whatever they want to do, right? You
Don't know what you're
being
talking about.
So you being in control of your thoughts is what's so very important. And, you know, it's always darkest before the dawn. A gratitude practice right now, what you have to be thankful for, to be grateful for. And if you wake up every day and can put your feet on the ground, you have something to be grateful for.
For sure.
So I think a gratitude practice now is more important than ever, where you really see the things that are around, the miracles that surround you every single day, right? And there's plenty.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, listen, thank you so much for tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to our next talk as well now. We have a lot that we can really, chomp on and dissect, so that'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you very much tonight. I'm going to set this up as a replay as well. Hang with me. We'll end the recording and move forward.
People can follow me at Dr. Jen Simmons on Instagram, and Dr. Jennifer Simmons on Facebook, and Dr. Jennifer Simmons on LinkedIn. So follow me. I put lots of great stuff out there every day for people to see. So
that's true. I follow you on Instagram as well.
good.
So I do that. I will put all your links in this video as well.
Awesome.
We'll have all that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.